the kind of enlightened leadership that my clients are all looking for is the type that brings people together, promotes trust, nurtures the talent of the people, empowers them to act and make good decisions. So how do you get people to understand what this leadership behavior is and to see their old leadership behaviors and see the consequences of the dysfunctional leadership and to see the consequences of the functional leadership? And the answer for me is the symphony orchestra. The symphony orchestra is the ideal place for understanding these behaviors and the consequences that they have. Here's the way the music paradigm works. Let's look at this first slide. I put the audience, this audience, by the way, is civil servants from the Dutch Ministry of the Interior sitting inside the great residency orchestra. I do a series of role-playing exercises in which I present music as a metaphor for any kind of workforce working together. And the metaphor has a very magical effect. The situation is so ludicrous to begin with. And then the behaviors that emerge are so strikingly honest and fresh that it releases a kind of an openness which makes it a great learning environment for anybody. So in this instant, I bring somebody up from the audience to stand on stage next to me, and I whisper to him what my intention is. And I say to him, I want to get it right. I want to be sure to get this right. I want it to be 100% right. Okay, so measure 66. That was the demonstration. Okay? Now sit down for a moment and talk about that. Why did the cellos play so badly? Because you'll admit
yes.
that was pretty bad.
It was
wasn't
bad. It took too long to start.
What?
You were making us doubt. We were waiting on the point of starting, but there was no clear moment. We didn't know anymore.
So wait a minute. First of all, did the section play well together?
No, we didn't have the same tempo.
And you say that it was because...
Well, because of you were communicating. Because of you, in fact. Yeah, sorry.
I know it was because of me.
Yeah.
So,
in fact, you were so making sure to be sure that you seemed very unsure. In fact, you were sort of preparing and doubting and doing the tempo inside your head that we didn't know anymore what you wanted to do, what you wanted us to do.
How did it feel to be working with a leader like that?
Very insecure. Yeah, very uncomfortable. You were not communicating to us, but to yourself, inside your mind, and we were left alone. That was my
Now, I
feeling.
want everybody to understand how uncomfortable. Did it affect you physically? Did it affect your body?
Yes, because I was at least 10 times ready to start, and every time holding back, in fact.
Good. Thank you. So, now, my witness, tell them what my intent was.
So the strategy was to make sure that he got it right. From the first moment, he had to get it right. So he was really concentrating on getting it right. Yeah. So that was the strategy. I can't emphasize getting it right from the first moment enough.
Right, exactly. So you can see that the right decision presented in the wrong way, in the wrong timing, is the wrong decision. Does that resonate with you at all?
Yes.
Talk a little bit about how it resonated with you.
Well, before I came to college, to Wesleyan, I was in the military, and I can see an example of that all the time where a leader or a position somebody in the position to lead gives a decision at the wrong time in the wrong place can affect the whole group as a whole, and it's just very uncomfortable and unsettling.
You know, when you're a leader, you have a captive audience. They don't get to make the terms under which they work. And so what this conductor did is he so concentrated on my job, my task, I'm going to get it right, and he didn't realize that everybody was tied to that and depended upon that. And when it came out, it was completely dysfunctional and couldn't be followed. Here's an executive who says, look, my job is to hire the right people, negotiate the right terms with them, give them the right salary, and then let them work. That's the right way to lead. It's hard for me to get to the clarinetist, but you can get the mic back to him. And how was that to work with that conductor?
Frankly, it seemed that you didn't care what I was doing.
I didn't care about what you were doing.
Yes. You give the starting part, but then you looked the other way, and I had no contact with you anymore.
Uh-huh. And so what did that do to you in this big clarinet solo?
I didn't know what to do, so I just did my own thing more or less, but it didn't correspond with you.
And was it satisfying to you? Do you feel like you played your best?
No, absolutely not.
Did you feel sort of like it was almost like a little nonsensical what came out?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Right.
Because I have to play some phrase, and normally the idea is that you following me a bit and my phrasing, but you just kept beating, and I had no freedom at all.
And if it doesn't come out right, it's the worst feeling, isn't it? And just tell them how you feel about the conductor then.
I'm glad I have no gun with me, so.
Say it again?
I'm glad I didn't bring a gun today, so.
You didn't bring what?
Gun.
A gun. That's right. Okay, send me the microphone. So it's a pretty strong reaction, isn't it? You all heard, he said, I'm glad I didn't bring a gun today.
You have to give them motivation to want to do something well and to put their best effort out. And without that constant guidance, then they can be sort of lost or find the wrong note, if you will.
So suppose I answer back and I say, well, there are plenty of motivation. It's their salary. I'm giving them a salary. Isn't that motivation enough?
No, I think it's working cohesively together.
Yeah,
I think with the leader,
So brilliant what you said, because you saw exactly that it's not a one-on-one relationship between the leader and the workforce. And when the workforce looks to the leader, it's not a personal thing. It's not personal. So if I'm the clarinetist, I say, Maestro, you may not realize it, but when I look at you, I connect to everybody else.
That's right.
When you look at me, they all listen to me.
It's unison.
Right. So as leader, you have the capability of making us all communicate better.
It's a network.
That's right, exactly. And that's the power of this kind of enlightened leadership that we're talking about. It's the understanding that your greatest power is not to do the work with your own muscles, but rather to create this kind of unity of purpose and communication and transparency within the workforce, so that people from the CIA and people from the FBI and the NSA all feel like they have the same mission, and they're all part of one thing, each with its own identity. When you acquire greater and greater leadership responsibilities in your life, and all of you, your circle of influence will grow. And then what kind of leader are you going to be? Are you going to be the one that rides on authority? Or are you going to be the one whose authority grows through your ability to give meaning to the work and to make all of your people better?